Welcome back, crew, and happy free tabletop RPG day. Today, what we're going to do is go through what TTRPG Day is and how you can participate, as well as go over my haul. I was able to get up early this morning and get out and get some really cool stuff that I want to show off and kind of show what you can pick up if you make it out to your local game store. Well, let's get into it. So, first big thing, free TTRPG Day is, I think this is their sixth year as a whole. It started in 2019. It's very like if you're a comic book fan, think free comic book day. It's basically an industry event where a lot of the major players will send out resources, whether it be for free TTRPG day, a lot of like adventures or quick start guides to the systems, different way to show off what a tabletop RPG is, and either get new people into the hobby and kind of check it out without the price barrier to entry, or even like people like myself who are already in the hobby, kind of showing off new publishers or even just new accessories and resources. So it's just a really cool way. And I've done free comic book day for let's say at least 30 years. And it's just a cool way. You see a lot of people that aren't typically into comics, or a lot of younger people too that may have just kind of figured out their interest. And I think it's a great way to get people into the hobby, whether it be comics or now free TTRPG day. Sadly, this was the first time I got to participate. COVID, didn't know about it for a while, then COVID and all that. But this is my first time coming out, and it was a fun experience. One of the big things too, it's Free TTRPG Day is a very good event to help support your local friendly game stores. So if you do have a local game store, go and actually I'll throw a link down in the description. Free TTRPG Day has like a little map where you can go to and find stores near you. Go through, support them, get some of the free stuff, buy something if you can, and just really kind of give back on that side because it's hard for the local stores to compete with Amazon and even a lot of the publishers themselves selling directly, which is something I've got to work on. I usually go right to the publisher's website. I want to give a little bit back to my local game stores and shout out to Midnight Vault or Vault of Midnight, I should say, where I went through. I'll throw a link for them in the description too for any of my Grand Rapids and Michigan locals. They were great, great store. I was able to get in, find some cool stuff, as well as get all the cool TTRPG goodies. And speaking of that, let's go into my haul a little bit. So we're gonna go through the things I picked up. Some of these will be familiar to you guys. I did pick up a couple of additions to games I've covered on the channel before, but also picked up some quick start guides to games that I hadn't seen before and wanted to learn more about. So let's dive in. So this one, if you watch channel, you knew I liked Dragonbane. I was curious to see how they did this. It's a adventure that's kind of like a tournament. I can't read it really well, but it's a tournament style adventure. It seems like it's designed for. They probably built it for like conventions as well because they had some like rules in there for kind of how to run it at a convention. Probably going to see it at Gen Con if you're playing a Dragonbane game. But it looked really cool. And one of the nice things with the adventure, I haven't done a deep read into it, just picked it up this morning. But the book in there, they give you a lot of Dragonbanes. They give you the core rules for Dragonbane pretty much across the board. You don't have the player creation stuff, but everything that you need to know to run the game is in there. They also give you some sample pre-built PCs too. So this is really generous. I was kind of reading through it, looking, and I'm like, oh, this is really pretty much everything you need. I mean, you missed out on the PC creation, some of the spells and things like that, but very generous for being free, especially to get people into the game. Dragonbane's an amazing system, and I think this could be it's well made, nice paper, all that too. Free League's one of my favorite publishers, and I think they did a great job of setting Dragonbane up to be a good success for free TTRPG days. So that's what I'd recommend to pick up, especially if you haven't don't have any of the Dragonbane materials, or if you just want an adventure with that. I love tournament adventures, so I'm kind of curious to see how that one plays out. So definitely check that one out. The last one that I got for a property or a TTRPG I've already played, Marvel Multiverse. They got a preview of their X-Men expansion. I think I've talked about it on this channel before. I'm a huge X-Men fan. I'm a sucker for anything X-Men related. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that expansion will play out. This one was a little bit as a pretty brief guide, but it does give you some the high level core rules for the system. So there's definitely some more intricacies that are like gated behind the book, we'll say, but it's definitely enough to kind of get a feel for how the game plays, kind of the core rules and core gameplay loops. So definitely generous on that side. They also give you three X-Men characters. Two of my favorites. You get Bishop and Gambit. Dazzler as well. She's really cool too. And you also get a little bit of a sneak preview for some of the lore that you'll get for the different teams. So this one, and if you've read X-Men or even watched X-Men, they've got a billion different teams for the X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force, all of that. This one goes into X-Force and gives you some of the lore between all the various iterations. Highlights my favorite one, Uncanny X-Force by Remender. It even goes up to the Kurokan age as well with their X-Force teams. So cool lore gives you even some story hooks if you wanted to build an X Force adventure for your party. Just some cool resources on that one. I'm looking forward to see how that one comes out. We may cover it again in the future. The only downside is Marvel doesn't do PDFs, which is a little bit of a barrier to entry for me. I know some others. So stay tuned on that one. Potentially more in the future. So the next two that I got were ones I hadn't seen before, and I thought that's kind of one of the cool pieces for TTRPG Day, especially if you're somebody like me who follows pretty decently closely to the industry and you just know what's coming out. It's kind of great to see some smaller publishers that may get overlooked, and I know some of you guys may already be familiar with the two. I've got one of them up behind me, as well as Arzium as well. I had not come across either of these. And with these two, so these two, I'm going to do a video for each. I probably won't run the adventure within them, but I'll kind of go through and break down what I see for the system a little bit. But I just kind of did like a little quick flip through for today, just to get this one out. And they both look pretty interesting. Arzium, this kind of has like a cool, like a little art style with it as well. This one gives you the key rules, some sample PCs, as well as an adventure that you can run just to get a feel for the world. The other one behind me as well is RuneScape. I know there's a big MMO. I never got to play that one, but I know that one probably has a decent sized following. And kind of same thing. They give you the core rules, pretty in depth as well. They give you an adventure, five sample PCs that you can run with it. So just enough for you to kind of get a feel for the system and dive in. So that was super high level for those two, but we will be doing a video over the next month, let's say, going through it, just kind of breaking down some of the core mechanics and just like a little first impressions video for both of those ones. So stay tuned for that. And the last big thing I got from Free RPG Day is they got like this little story engine card. I didn't even know I'd be getting this one. So they had like these one of the books like out in the section. You got to go through and pick out three or four of them. And then after I bought like some other books too, they gave me this, which is like a little story card thing where you can draw and get different adventure hooks, NPCs, I think some items and locations too. So I thought that was just really cool. I wasn't expecting it, so it was kind of cool to get a little extra with it too. So that was my free TTRPG Day haul. One thing I do want to shout out though, especially if you are going to a local game store, make sure you buy stuff. Don't just go in and take all the free stuff. Go through and buy some cool stuff as well. And I bought two books with it. So one of them, I'd seen like information about this. This is Cowboy Bebop. Well, I'm hit or miss with anime, but this is one of my favorite anime. And I saw that they made their own tabletop RPG game. It was only like $11. So I picked this one up. It's like this is not gonna be like a game of the month one, but it'll probably be like an adventure and like a review video sometime in the future. I know a couple of people on my server are very interested in checking this one out and they're huge Cowboy Bebop fans. And the other one, this one, I thought this book was out of print, so I was happy to see it. Legend of the Five Rings. If you watched my Gen Con video from last year, I got to briefly play this at Gen Con last year, but I had like some wing rods at the table, for lack of a better way to say it. So I wanted to pick it up and get to see the system for myself and potentially run it for my table. That one would probably be a game of the month, a little bit thick. So that stay tuned for that. I want to see how it plays with like some good players at the table that are making it a fun experience. But I was happy to see that because I know their company, Edge, they went through a whole bunch of different companies. Used to be like, well, I won't get into all that, but I knew they were having some printing issues because they also own the Star Wars Edge of the Empire, or Star Wars, the Fantasy Flight Star Wars series is now with that company, Edge. And I know they were having printing issues, so I thought that was in the same book as that. Yeah, I was happy to see that, happy to pick it up, support a local game store, and fingers crossed, maybe they'll be doing more printings too, because I'd love to get my own copy of the old Fantasy Flight Star Wars systems too. Yeah. Overall, that's my haul for free TTRPG day. Biggest thing, go out there, get to meet some new TTRPG fans, support your local game store, and get to see some new publishers you haven't seen. I'm very curious to see kind of with the RuneScape Kingdoms as well as the Arzium, just kind of see how they play, kind of what that publisher's philosophy is for the system. I'm pretty geeked out for that. Yeah, shout out your own haul too below. There's a lot of other cool stuff that I didn't cover or I wasn't able to get. Paizo's got some great adventures out there. They've got a Pathfinder 2e adventure, a Toy Heist, and I forgot the one for Starfinder 1e. To clarify, it's 1e. I would have picked it up those 2e as well. Avatar, the last Avatar Legends has some cool like an adventure out and the dice too. I wanted to get the dice, but I think I got there a little too late for that. And there's just a lot of amazing stuff that's out there that we didn't get to cover. So shout out below what you got for your free TTRPG Day haul. And if you haven't yet, go out there, get it, support your local game store, and have some fun. Thanks for hanging out with us, and until next time.